Good morning, welcome to CATEX-TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. This is a live broadcast from Princeton, New Jersey. Today is Thursday, September 17th, 2009. It's 11:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time in the U.S. In London, it's 4:30 p.m. In Bermuda, 12:30 p.m. In Mexico City, it's 10:30 in the morning. If you need to reach us during the show, call 877-466-CATEX. Overseas, our AOL instant mail address is CATEX-TV. The main news in the United States today is centered around the fact that the police in New Haven, Connecticut have made an arrest regarding the killing of the 24-year-old female laboratory technician who was working in the medical building, the medical research building on the campus. They arrested one of her co-workers. That's the lead story. There are other stories. We'll tell them now. The stock market is up about 43 points right now, mainly due to some economic data that we'll reference a little bit later on. There's a very big storm out in Asia. This comes to us courtesy of our friends at AIR, Ming Lee. Winds are gusting over 200 miles per hour as a Category 5 super typhoon named Typhoon Choi has passed by the northern Marianas and is moving about 10 miles per hour west-northwest. It's about 290 miles north of Saipan right now, and they expect it's going to pass about 300 miles to the south and east of Japan, as you see here. This is the track they're expecting for the 19th. This would be sometime on Saturday. So let's hope it stays that far away from the Japanese islands. According to the Joint Typhoon Warning Center's advisory this morning, the storm has maximum sustained winds of 160 miles per hour with gusts up to 195 miles per hour. The storm developed rapidly from a tropical depression last Saturday to a tropical storm on Sunday to a Category 5 super typhoon just yesterday. They use the term super typhoon for tropical cyclones in the Western Pacific that are equivalent to a strong Category 4 or Category 5 hurricane in the Atlantic Basin. Tropical Typhoon Choi is the strongest tropical cyclone to have developed in either the Pacific or the Atlantic this year. Its radius of typhoon force winds extends outwards for about 75 miles from the center. Its winds are generating waves with heights of 40 feet. The full structure of the storm, seen by satellite, spreads more than across 1,200 miles of ocean. Meanwhile, another storm, a typhoon Koppu, K-O-P-P-U, made landfall on the southern coast of China yesterday, blasting Hong Kong with 90-mile-per-hour winds. In Hong Kong, offices and schools were shut. 58 people were injured. About 26,000 ships were reported to have been ordered to return to port, and it dropped about 8 inches of rain. So, AIG is in the news, not in a good way today. Bloomberg is reporting that Bob Benmosh, here he is, Chief Executive Officer of AIG, was rebuffed by the board of the company after saying he should be allowed to use personally the bailed out company's plane, their jet. As according to anonymous sources, the board responded saying flights will be limited to business purposes because creating a personal exception would require that approaching the Treasury Department, who now owns most of the company, 80% of it, for approval. AIG immediately posted an expense guideline on its website this week saying that personal use of corporate jets is strictly prohibited. One observer from the Veritas Executive Compensation Consultants Company said it would be irresponsible for AIG to just say go ahead and use the corporate jet before the TARP funds are paid back. An AIG spokeswoman said that there is no conflict between Bob and the board on this matter. Benmosh's predecessor, Edward Liddy, had a $1 a year salary. He flew commercially between New York and Chicago, where he lived. AIG did reimburse him over $47,000 for the flights. Benmosh is 65 years old. He will get a $7 million annual salary, and he's eligible for over $3.5 million a year in long-term incentives. Other executives with jets, MetLife has said that their CEO, Bob Henriksen, will no longer be required to use the corporate aircraft for personal travel for safety reasons. John Mack, CEO of Morgan Stanley, has agreed to start reimbursing the company for his personal use of the company's plane. His personal flights last year cost over $368,000 that he's paid. Citigroup CEO Vikram Pandit said this week that he'll no longer use the company's aircraft for personal use. So, very interesting. The AIG corporate plane has been denied personal use by Mr. Benmosh because the government owns 80% of the company. Here's the economic news. Economic news relating to job losses. The number of newly laid off workers seeking unemployment benefits in the U.S. fell last week to the lowest level since early July. The Labor Department said this morning that initial claims for unemployment insurance dropped to a seasonally adjusted 545,000. This was from an upwardly revised 557,000 the week before, so this is a drop of 22,000. Wall Street had been expecting that the claims would in fact rise, so this is a 27,000 jobless claim swing toward the good side. Meanwhile, housing starts in the U.S. and permits rose in the month of August to their highest level in 9 months. The Commerce Department said this morning that new housing starts rose 1.5% from July to a seasonally adjusted annual rate of about 598,000 units. A survey released yesterday showed confidence among U.S. home builders had reached its highest level in 16 months in the month of September. Here's an interesting story. Prudential Financial said last night after the market closed that Nippon Life Insurance Company has signed an agreement to purchase a $500 million 10-year exchangeable surplus note. Pru will pay interest at an annual rate of 5.36%. The note can be exchanged at Nippon's option for common stock after 5 years. It could give Nippon up to a 9.9% stake in Pru. They expect the transaction will close tomorrow. Nippon Life is based in Osaka. It's a mutual insurer. It offers annuities, life, medical, and nursing coverage. It had year-end 2008 total assets of $467 billion and 2008 revenue of $67 billion. Nippon already owns a 7% stake in the Principal Financial Group, its principal's largest shareholder. Here's something that we're going to do every Thursday now as we speak, and every time we think about this, at any time, there are thousands and thousands of merchant ships plying the world's 7 seas. As you know, that's the original impetus for the idea of insurance. Here's a picture of the Titanic going down, pay all claims, etc., etc. It was a different disaster, but nevertheless, Lloyd's did. We'll run down the list of some notable maritime events for the past week. Here's one from the 15th of September. This is the day before yesterday. This is in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. An unidentified boat with cargo and approximately 144 passengers sank in an isolated stretch of river in the southern part of the country. 14 people were dead and 34 others missing. Here's one from the 15th of September. This is the boat, the Macard, ran aground in water off of Grays Harbor in Washington State on the 14th. The Coast Guard airdropped dewatering equipment and a rescue swimmer to assist. The 240-foot German tanker Alpsray, A-L-P-S-R-A-Y, built in 1954, was in a collision with inland watercraft on the Rhine River up near Greithausen. This is on the 14th. Vessel damage and pollution were reported, prompting immediately lightering effects. Lightering is unloading the vessel. There's another one, a ferry, the Bawaqa, B-A-W-A-Q-A, owned by the Ba Holdings Limited, carrying approximately 26 passengers, struck a reef off of Viwa Island in Fiji on the 10th of September. The vessel was abandoned and is reportedly slowly sinking. No injuries are reported. Here's one on September 12th. The Indonesia flag cargo carrier MV Mana caught fire in Paradip Port, India. It took the crew 4 hours to extinguish the flames. The incident was attributed to lack of moisture in the vessel's cargo hold, where it keeps coal. And finally, the biggest inter-island ship in Fiji, the 701-ton Tui Lau,